let's actually just show the next highlight here, Josh, and I'll keep you on with me because the game of the night within the league, the only two undefeateds met tonight over at the Whippet Athletic Conference. Shelby, the #1 team in the state in Division 4, taking on another top 10 team in Galion. And Galion opens things up, and actually Aiden Schmidt to Cameron Kuhlman here gives them the lead on their opening drive. But you already know Braden DeVito and the boys, they go bounce back. That's right. He finds Michael Shepard. They would miss the PAT, though, so it's 7-6. Galion still in front. Kuhlman, again, ripping off a big run here. He'll take it 35 yards to the crib, 14-6, end of one. Tigers on top on the road, but DeVito opening up the second quarter. He was the second leading rusher in the MOAC going into tonight. He gets in there, 2-point conversion ties this baby up. Our cameras only catch the tail end of this play, but Galion Schmidt connects to Jacob Chambers. He's our big play threat in the passing game. He proves it right there. 32-yarder to put him back on top by a score. Shelby would respond, though. 15 yards from Gavin Baker, surging through the hole and just keeps the legs a-churning. 21-20, that's the score at the break. Second half now, Galion. Here's Schmidt connecting with Chambers again. I mentioned he's a big play threat, right? 61-yarder this time. They go on top by 8. Only 51 seconds here into the third quarter. But Shelby, they would tie the game. Not that long later, it's 28 apiece. DeVito to Avery Lambert from 7. They get the 2-point conversion. And Shelby takes their first lead of the night now early in the fourth. 35-28, DeVito back into the end zone for the second time with his legs. Shelby then forces a safety, making the score 37-28, and then they would add to their lead. DeVito again is going to get in here from 10 yards out, along with a successful 2-point conversion to pretty much put the game on ice. There was only 3 minutes to go, but with 58 seconds left, Galion, they're still fighting, man. Schmidt to Chambers again, third time. What a gorgeous catch, too. 45-34, that is your final. A wealth of highlights in this game here tonight, but the Whippets, they come out on top, Josh, and anytime that you're crowned the #1 team in Division 4, you better come out and play like it, and I really like that Shelby, they got a test tonight. They had to come from behind for the first time all season, and we see them rise to the occasion. What do they do when it matters most? Their senior quarterback, who's a D1 commit, he takes over and has a big game, and I think that this is kind of what the Hungry Hounds and their collective fan base, they wanted to see a game like this, and they get it done, checking a box.
Yeah, and I think the most exciting thing is to think that we're going to have Shelby Clear Fork later on, and that Clear Fork defense is one of the best in the MOAC. Braden DeVito and Brady Bowman and Marshall Shepard are all going to do their things, but they're going to run into that team eventually. That defense is going to make them compete even more. They scored 45 tonight. Galion scored 35. Clear Fork's going to look to beat them like they beat Ontario tonight, a 17-10, a 21-14 type game. And that, I think that's the MOAC matchup that I am most excited for as we run down the last 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah, Galion's going to be at Ontario, so the Warriors going to get another taste of home cooking where they had a big game against Madison just last week. So I'm going to be interested to see how the Tigers respond from a game where they gave it their best shot all the way down to the wire. Meanwhile, Shelby, they're at home again. They've got Highland and then at River Valley before they get a take on Clear Fork in a couple of weeks. So you don't overlook anybody, but if you can read the tea leaves, probably a couple of victories going into that Clear Fork game. And then the Colts, too, they've got 2 very winnable games, Pleasant and then Harding on the schedule. So it could set up that second mega matchup, potentially 2 teams that are still undefeated in the MOAC. And that one can probably go a long way to determining what we're going to see when the picture is starting to come a little bit more in focus. But a long way to go, of course, Josh,